All right. So you're level 285. Congrats. Welcome to Carcion.
Thank you. Thank you.
Was a lot of work, right? How was the journey?
It was pretty rough. I mean, it has some ups and downs.
Yeah. Some events where it goes a bit faster, and then off event, a little bit
Yeah,
more struggling to
uh,
get everything done, right?
a bunch of month break in between.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the
It
way,
was
just you know, just so you know, because you're logged in. Are you okay with your name showing up on the video? It's not like a million people is going to see it, but if
Oh
you
yeah,
care.
I'm more than fine. I was about to ask you if this
Mm-hmm.
will go upload on YouTube so I can share
Yeah.
with my friends.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, I will, yeah. Okay.
that's
Yeah,
cool.
I just double check because some people don't want their whole, government name out there because you're like logged into Google, right? Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted you. It was a little bit up and down, you said?
Yeah, like sometimes I was very motivated, and others I was not that much, but I try to be consistent with the journey.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, that's key, right?
yeah, and besides the couple of months that some real life stuff was going on,
Mm-hmm.
besides that, then I was like actually playing like almost every day.
Yeah. Okay. So dailies and weeklies, no problem. Simple growth, no problem.
Yeah.
Because very quickly we get into a lot of time gate, right? Well, like with pitches and with Eternals, that you have to just try to do it every week and with as much drop rate as possible. Otherwise, otherwise you're just going to be here for years before you can, on average, get the gains that you're trying to look for.
Yes, exactly.
And
Yeah.
oh, you're in a Hyperion. Okay, wow, very nice. Yeah. So that's it's consistent. Yeah. Oh, you have the date here. Okay, 15th of November. Yeah, because I was always looking at because there's people in Hyperion now who are only like a few levels behind like Kronos, which is just crazy when you think about it. But that kind of shows you how steep the EXP curve is, right? Where you can actually, in numbers, you can actually get very very close very quickly if you just put all your time into it. But just because the number is close doesn't mean in time you're close. You're still years behind, but in number, it looks a lot closer than it is. But 4 to 5 hours, so you have plenty of time. At least if real life doesn't take over. How is Hyperion doing these days? Is it like you feel like it's a good, healthy server? Like enough players, not too many, easy to find people to do
Mm,
parties with, that kind of stuff.
I think it has like a good balance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I noticed that in Hyperion, people are. This is just my how can I say this?
Your opinion,
My
or
yeah, or
mm-hmm.
perception
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
that people are more like try hard. Uh,
Right. Yeah.
you see people like almost Chronos level in 1 year,
Mm-hmm.
like 400 mil CP, almost already 290, 291 in one
Yeah.
year, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But like population wise,
There's
it's
still burn and
yeah, there is burning fields,
mm-hmm.
and there's like a balance between like
Yeah.
people and burning, and you can find
Mm-hmm.
parties also.
Yeah, it seems like in player numbers, definitely less crowded during events like in Chronos, where you just maybe have to go to like your second or third or fourth choice map because the whole thing is full. But it's not like EU where there's literally no one, and every map has like level 8 plus burn. Like that's nice if all you want to do is grind all day, but I don't know. You don't want all of your worth of how much you progress to be like so you could show other people what you have. But playing a game all by yourself is also a little bit, if it's an MMO, it's not designed for that, right? It's designed to
Mhm.
play with other people and kind of like motivate each other to progress and do harder bosses together and not just, if you wanted that other experience, you play a single player game, right?
Yeah,
Go play
sure.
Skyrim or something for the 15th time instead of playing MapleStory and then grinding alone. Okay, but that's good to hear. There's always a little bit of that fear when a new server comes out that there's like that initial hype because people want to, prove themselves or like be the number one guild to do this boss or be the first party that does this, right? And then after the more reasonable achievements kind of get reached, people just kind of start, fading out and not, like they don't stay around, and then it's really hard for a server to keep justifying its its existence when people just keep phasing out of it. But I mean, EU is still around, and that's definitely a lot smaller as far as I understand. So, but yeah, that's good to hear. So you're in a pretty big guild. I imagine there's like a few big alliances, and then a whole bunch of just like small mule guilds at this point.
Yeah, kind of like that. I was in a big guild before, but I'm in a smaller one now because I mean, my class is not very good at Culvert, and I start noticing that like in the first couple of months, and I don't want to have like this pressure about having like certain point of Culvert.
Do they have like a certain number culvert score you need to reach to stay in, and then you just have
Yeah,
to work way harder as a Lumi to get? Yeah, it's a little unfair. I mean, you can understand from the point of view, but there should be like an average or something, because it's like a really unrealistic expectation to say like, I don't know which class is like really good at culvert off the top of my head, but like any 2 minute who can do like 2 full bursts, right? Versus a 3 minute that's more DPM like Lumi, you're just never gonna win that. I mean, you have to work so much harder to get the same score, so.
yeah, I'm basically a 6 minute class at this point.
Basically, yeah, everyone's that origin in there. Yeah, so there was too much pressure, so you decided to. I mean, you don't really lose that much, right? I mean, you lose like a little bit of IED, but Lumi already has a bunch of IED, so it's not like you're taking a big step down in damage, but you have maybe way less pressure on you for flag and culvert and all that, and get basically the same for it in return, right? Okay, yeah. But so was that the main decision for you to take a little bit of a step back there, or was there also just other stuff that they were expecting?
Yeah, pretty much that was it. Because I slowly became like a Culvert hater because of my class,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, I kind of don't care about Culvert. Like that number, um, I don't want like to be bothered by just that number.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and then lag can play into it, and if you try to make an upgrade and you do make a downgrade, or like event skill goes away and the score goes down again. I don't know. You have to be like very emotionally solid, I think, to be able to deal with all the ups and downs of Culvert score as well. Or you mess something up one week and you have to be like, do I have to rerun now? And then, if everything goes perfectly, it's like 4 or 5 minutes, but it's almost never that, right?
Yeah, like right now I have the damage to be in like the number one guild because I believe they were asking for around 20 to 30k, between 20 and 30k cover, and I have like around that, like close to 30k.
Nice.
But I don't want like the pressure in the future that they like suddenly increase to like, oh, we are asking now to like 35 or 40k, and
if they want to stay number one, that's always going to keep moving up, right? Yeah, and if that's not your pace, then
or if I've been unlucky with, I don't know, I turn out some stuff, then I cannot like keep the track on the Culvert.
I mean, you can always inform like with juniors as well, because sometimes what they'll do is they'll have different expectations for like new people coming in versus people who are already in. Like let's say that you've been in there for a while and people know that Lumi doesn't do very well with Culvert, and they want to like have people over 30k, but you're still like hovering around the 30k or a little bit below or a little bit above, but they want to get like people who are more like 35 plus. Then maybe they'll start recruiting people at that amount, but if you have a good rapport with management, if you're doing other things, maybe if you're helping people out in the guild, if you're doing a lot of stuff, that can also be value in just other than Culvert, right? I mean, I'm not saying that they do it like that, but hopefully there's some kind of way to bring value to the guild other than just Culvert, and maybe you can inform with whether that's something that you could do. You don't have to make a decision right away, right? Hopefully big guilds usually have more in-depth management and more rules and possibilities like that. If they don't, then you already have your answer. But but maybe there's
Yeah.
something there. Yeah, that can be a little bit. But yeah, Culvert is big thing. Yeah, of course. You don't want to stay number one. You want the score to basically go up every week, right? Maybe a little dip after a event skill goes away or something. But in general, every single week you want the score just to go up a little bit. And it's definitely an arms race. But how many guilds would you say are like really in contest for number one? Is it like 5 or is it more like 20 or so?
No, it's like 3 or 4.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, yeah.
So they're all like poaching each other and
Yeah,
trying
pretty
to
much.
like channels. Yeah. And then one will go to the top, and everyone else will be okay with. Will have to kind of be okay with it. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a form of competition that's really, really fun for some people. Other people don't want that at all. They're fine taking like a little bit of a step back and, gain from that rather than be too absorbed in that. Okay, but that's good to know. So let's get to your specific questions you have here. Journals transition, yeah, that's a common one. That's it's always interesting. What level difficulty of the bosses are you doing right now, and are you close to scaling that up?
Like more at the bottom, I update my scouter, but right now I am clearing up to easy culling and normal kalos, and I would like to move maybe in the summer when we get the mastery, the new mastery course. I would like to try to go to the next level and go for the Ex Lotus, Cicalos, normal culling, the big, the big ones.
So you have not tried any Ex Lotus yet, or have you practiced a little bit?
I've been practicing a little bit. I think I can try to clear like earlier than summer, but for Kalos and Kalin, not sure because I'm running with a party, and we are like 4 or 5, and we're not like 6 men, and we are doing easy Kalin and normal Kalos weekly, but yeah, maybe we can go with the harder bosses in the summer or earlier. I don't know.
Yeah, so do you guys usually get a fill, or do you just run like smaller party and then just keep clearing it with you guys?
We were 6, but 2 dropped down, so we just straight go as 4 because they are strong, and I believe we have the damage to try and proc Cicalos and normal culling. So I have to ask them if they want to like actually recruit 2 more and go for the try.
Yeah, because your percentages look good, like they're up there. You're fully using Kant, right?
Yeah, I'm permacount.
Yeah, okay.
Also because I didn't got a Roar 4 yet.
Oh, yeah, okay. I guess for Cicalos you might go into Roar for the 3-minute burst segments, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I'll have to look at how much damage your party needs. Do you guys have a support in the party right now?
No. We are like Lumi. Oh yeah, yeah. We have a bishop. Yeah.
We have a bishop. Yeah, that still counts as support. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
We have bishop. I believe a shadower and a nightwalker and me. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's not a bad setup. It's more of a DPM-y setup, I guess, a little bit, right? Shadower is also more DPM-y, which makes it a little bit easier to chip if you're in C Kalos and you can't quite hit the burst on the segments. But yeah, DPMing in Kalos is of course a lot harder. You need a little bit of practice. Have you guys gone into the harder difficulties before, just to kind of like, just send it and just kind of see how far you're at?
No, I've never run C Kalos. Normal culling, yes, we tried like 2 or 3 runs, and we got to like P2. Yeah, that was it.
Okay. Yeah, P1 is getting the dog down. It's a lot stronger than in easy, right? So that can already be quite a lot harder. And you're in, the longer you're in the bird phase, the more your gauge goes down, like your your score goes down, right? So you want to get out of the bird as soon as possible. It's a different dynamic than in easy, because in easy you usually just sit in bird, wait for your cooldowns to come back to burst out of P2, and then bursting out of P2 is it's probably the hard part, right? Even with your party, like you're gonna need everyone basically to throw everything at P2 just to get out of there, or play that phase, which is not impossible, of course, but not desirable either. So that's where I'm at right now as well. We're looking at like, oh, do we go into hard killing? Are we gonna like learn that whole thing? But then, you know, if this earlier you start going into normal, hopefully the sooner everyone is kind of like done with their Eternals, and then there's not really the need to do that difficulty, and then you can really decide the people who want to push on because they want like the exceptional enhancements can keep pushing for that, and the people who just want grindstones, it seems like it's better to just solo the lower level bosses. It takes longer per week, of course, but it seems like way better odds soloing the lower level difficulty and then having 100% of the stones versus going with a party, because it doesn't seem to add too much unless you go into like the extreme. There the drop rate seems way higher, but yeah, going to extreme calices, of course, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
That's very, very far, yeah. But yeah, the masteries will definitely scale that up, so it'd be a good thing. But you have a solid foundation for the party, right? You have a support, you have 3 extra people, and you're all available like around EU time zone, or is it, you know, just like weekend whenever it overlaps?
I believe I'm the only one from you.
Maybe, okay.
But I'm used to, because I used to I used to play Chronos before, and I was always the EU guy
Yeah.
who have to play during the late night,
Yeah.
so I can boss with like the NA people.
Gamer hours. Yeah, understandable. Yeah, same here. I guess for that, remember that this Saturday to Sunday, so today into tomorrow, NA time zone is changing, but ours is not until the end of March. So make sure you check that for the time slots and everything on the parties, you and everyone else who sees this.
Yeah.
Because you might miss your parties if you're, or they might think you're late when you're just at the right time. Okay, but okay, so that's good. And how is the pieces going so far? Like, what do you have so far?
Pretty bad. I mean, if you mean Eternals, it's going bad. I boomed 3 hats.
Okay, so just 0 for 3, just trying to go for hats. Okay.
Yeah, I have this mentality of 22 or nothing, which is bad. I know it's bad, but
well, it can be bad. I wouldn't say it's always bad, right? I think it depends on what you're coming from. So if you are, let's say that you have like a 21-star Sweetwater tattoo and you get a Berserk, then I think 22 or nothing is fine, right? Because otherwise it's going to be a downgrade or like barely a vertical upgrade anyway, or sideways upgrade. Like, it's not going to be worth the hassle. So then I would go 22 or nothing, especially if it's your main. If it's a mule, then I think 21 is much more justified, right? But if you are coming from a 17-star Sweetwater tattoo and you get a Berserk, then doing 22 or nothing is kind of silly. Then I think maybe 19 or so. But then if you get that, then you should work up the tattoo and work them both up so that you guarantee your chances that you end up with an upgrade, right? So I would never say like objectively 22 or nothing is bad. I think it just depends on the situation, and it's important to look at your situation and just make a decision you're comfortable with. If you're comfortable with risking that, then that's fine. But just be aware of your options. That's always what I just advocate.
Yeah, the thing is, I used to be more safe with my upgrades before, but I don't know why something like cracked in me, and I start being like more greedy. And the issue with the hats is that if I, instead of booming 3 hats, I actually got
had done it differently.
The hat top and bottom, I could like be 3 set Eternal, even though if they sit at 17, right? But I decided to try to be done with the hat, especially the hat. For me, it's very important because in the summer update, the next mastery for Lumi, we switch from a stat hat to a CD hat
to cooldown,
and I don't want to roll -3 or -4 on a Crow hat. So the sooner I'm done with the Eternal hat, the soon I can start throwing cubes, and I don't feel like actually bad. Then if I hit like a -4, and yeah, that's the other reason that I'm like brute forcing the hats.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, I think that, and the fact also that the hat is only from Kalos pieces, right? And if you go into top and bottom with Kalos pieces, that's where the culling pieces can actually start coming in, and you need the shoulder for them as well, right? So if you don't want to go too heavy into top and bottom as well, if your hat's not done yet, because that's gotta come out of Kalos. But you also have to remember that Kalos is always going to be at the same difficulty or one higher than culling, right? So you're always going to get more hat pieces than shoulder and culling pieces. But it's totally natural. I think most people look for, I just want to get a high Star Force hat, maybe 21, but probably just 22 to get it done, and then lock that in, and then just do top and bottom pieces with Kalos and culling pieces, and when that's almost done, like start working on the shoulder, and then just finish it off with Kalos pieces. That's the ideal scenario. Like for my arc that worked, but for my DA the same thing happened for you. It's like, oh, I boomed the hat twice, and then I started looking at, okay, maybe I start moving multiple pieces at the same time. Although for DA it's a little bit harder because you also scale off of the amount of Star Force rather than just the stats from the Star Force. So I had to go for like 219 pieces to be able to switch over. But luckily I already had the 22 Arcane hat because DA set bonuses work differently. So now it's rocking the 22 Arcane hat with 219 pieces. But yeah, so now I'm 22 or nothing on the Arcane hat again on the DA, so hopefully tomorrow that works. But yeah, if it doesn't, I'll just keep doing that over and over until it works, basically at the point where I'm at now. But the main thing you also want to look at is if you had done it differently, right? But that's a lot of, we call that coulda, shoulda, wouldas, right? Like a lot of hindsight, just looking at, oh, I should have done this, then this would have happened. But you don't know that, right? Because if you had done that, maybe you would have gotten to 17 faster, but maybe then you would have boomed, 5 times trying to get from 17 to 19. Maybe now the next one goes, and then you're like, oh, actually that was a really good decision. So it's always, it's always RNG. But it's best to also make decisions that you feel comfortable with, and it's okay to change your risk profile and to change your strategy based on that you want to see progress. And I had another session, was it yesterday? Yeah. And it's very similar experience. You just want to get that first hat to hit so you can lock that in, and then, slowly go into the other pieces. But then if the first one doesn't, like, what do? It's okay to, like, shift strategy without feeling like I did the wrong thing. Because I think that strategy is probably, it's the best strategy, and that's probably why you did it. So now feeling like, okay, but I still want to see progress, it's probably a good idea to see, like, okay, if I switch to top and bottom, switch those first, maybe to the Arcane hat, because I see you already have one here in the top right, as an option. Like 2-second cooldown and a little bit of int is not, super expensive, and it's still pretty close, right? So that can get you some of the way there. But I don't think there's like, sorry.
Sorry. The thing is, I need options are -3 with a line of stat or -4, because those are like the breakpoints for the Lumi or the new mastery.
Okay. And that's for which skill is that specifically?
Yeah, for the new mastery. It's actually a brand new skill. They are going to remove...
that one. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The morning fall or whatever is being removed,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, that was always a weird skill, kind of. It's got like what passive 40% IED or 40% final damage or something. So interesting way of fixing the kit of a class, just slapping on a passive 40% final damage on an attacking skill to make your class work. But it's always interesting. Yeah, so it has to be that high. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you like this is the best way or this is the wrong way to do it, but probably making sure that you get some kind of progress feels like a better move here for now because of the limited damage that you have and how close you would need to be to get into C Kalos. But if the 3rd and 4th mastery kick in and give you quite a lot of damage, then maybe that damage is not needed from the equips, but it comes from the masteries. And then, yeah, it would really suck, Although, I think even 3-second cooldown is not super crazy to have to do on a CRA, right? Have you checked the cost for that?
No.
To do like temporarily until you hit the other ones. Yeah, I wanted like a line of yeah, my hat on my DA is super stupid now because I wanted 2-second and a little bit of and some HP temporarily, and then I hit like 3-second with a prime HP triple prime in like, I don't know,
Oh,
like
that's nice.
under 100 cubes or something. So I mean, it's less damage than I want, and it's actually a little bit too much skill cooldown. But like, I'm good with this, of course. Like, I'll keep this, and then switching, and then if the hat goes tomorrow, then I can fully commit to that one. But yeah, ideally, I want at least 2-second cooldown and 2 line of stat, or like another prime in there, ideally. But you know, hat's very fickle. Basically, because of our blast, I don't know if you know how DA works, but that's a 12-second cooldown, so 2 seconds off of it gives you a lot more uses for it, and basically this is the skill that we use to tank big hits so we don't die, because it gives lifesteal and damage reduction. So more uptime on that means it's a lot more reliable to have to not die, you know, which is cool. Not dying is pretty useful.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're in the very same like DPM and trying to get cooldown off of the lower cooldown skills situation, right? So, but yeah, you guys need 3 to 4, yeah. Because I think bright any 2-second, because 4-second you get into like the 50. It's a 36, not that high, but this feels like it's like under. Yeah, it says 9 bill. Which in the grand scheme of things, right? Because I think it said you made something like, did you make 30, 25 to 30? Yeah. So you know, that would be like 2 to 3 days of money on average. That's not too bad, right? If that's what's needed.
Yeah, I can. I mean, at worst case scenario, I can just cube my crown if there is no eternal dawn from here to the summer.
But yeah, I mean, I wish I could tell you like this is, you were doing it wrong and this is objectively better, but I don't know if there's like an objective way. Like if you knew exactly how much damage we were getting and everything, right, then you could get a little bit more informed on maybe, you know, just staying. If your goal is to just get full 22 and you can do the hardest difficulties, like you can get to see Kalos now, which I think you can, you know, if you round out the party and practice, you'll just take a little bit more, a little bit longer runs. If you're willing to put in that effort, get those people, and definitely with the masteries, that'll round out better, then just keep on going. 22 or nothing is going to, on average, get you done faster than any other strategy. Because then, you know, if you hit, you hit, and then you haven't made like extra on the sides like I did. I did that because I want to progress earlier to the higher difficulties to get more pieces so I can get everything done faster. So that's why I did like alternate strategies with like going up to 9, you know, getting to 22, getting to 19, making a 21 on the side, and then 22ing on the existing piece and all that. That made sense for my situation, but your situation is, I don't think is going to require that. I think keeping on going 22 or nothing is probably fine. As shitty as it is, you could go for 0 for 11, but that still doesn't mean that it was the wrong decision, right? It just means that you got unlucky. It's like, you know, if you're betting at the poker table, you have like 85% chance to win, and you know, you go all in and then you lose. That doesn't mean it was a bad decision. It just means you got unlucky. Like in hindsight, that doesn't make it have been bad. But that doesn't mean that you can feel bad about the decision, of course. That's a completely separate thing.
Also, the issue is if I hit the 22 and get the hat done, I'm fine wearing a 17 top and bottom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well then just switching into that set, the set bonus is huge. Yeah, of course. You want to get just like into 4 set as soon as possible then, yeah. And then you could just YOLO the shoulder and keep the Kalos pieces going for the top and bottom. It gets a little tricky there on like how do you proceed out of wearing 17s, but it's awkward for everyone, right? Because we're in heroic. In interactive, you could just say like we just keep buying tops and bottoms until I'm done, and we just have to kind of. Some people get stuck. Some people just wait longer. Like right now, I have my last piece to do, and I have a 19, and I want to get to 22 on the 4th piece, but it's like I have 2 backups, so there's a pretty good chance that I end up with 17 if I if I boom twice, right? So am I willing to risk that? do I need the damage? I don't really need the damage. We're kind of close to limbo, but it's like I think we can do limbo, especially with damage stuff coming up. I think we'll be good. So maybe I just skip the 5, 10, 15, wait until next event where I have like 4 or 5 backups, and then I go full 22, right? Increasing the chance that I just don't. But then, you know, if I go on the first one, well, it'd be like, oh shit, I could have done it last event, I could have hit. But I could have also not hit, right? You don't know that. So it's always up to you to make the risk assessment in the situation. I always use the calculators just to see like what's the chance, what's the cost, and I let that decide, is it a good idea or not? For me, you know, as long as you have the information, that's what you should base the information on for the decision on for yourself. And I usually don't look at like anyone else who says like tells me what to do with my stuff. I don't feel like those people have my interest at heart, so I very quickly ignore all of that. If someone gives me a reason and a build up and information on why they would pick something over something else, then I'm always ready to listen. But if someone just tells me like you need to do this, no justification, no nothing, that's like, okay, then I know definitely I'm not doing that. That's very easy for me. So yeah, I hope. But you don't seem like you get too much peer pressured or anything. But you did say that you changed your strategy, right? Do you still remember why that was?
Actually, I'm not sure. Like I don't know. I start like being more greedy on stuff, and because I used to play like, okay, I'm 17, full 17, then I will be full 21, and then slowly get to full 22. But when I was done in my year, like when I was like full 22, I was like, okay, now with the next step, which is Eternals and like pitches, I will try to be more risky and go for 22 or nothing. And I don't know, maybe that was just like
Well,
a decision I made.
well, I don't know if it necessarily it is more risky, because I think risk implies the weighing the upside and the downside, right? And your downside is significantly smaller if your backup is already a strong 22 piece. That's why I'm saying, I said in the beginning, like I don't think 22 or nothing is necessarily a bad thing. It has to do with what if your downside is already mitigated. If your downside is mitigated, then 22 or nothing is totally fine, and I think is probably the best way to go. Because again, objectively, if you want to end up with 22, going 22 and nothing on every piece will get you there the fastest, provided that you get the maximum amount of backups that you get. And that's the one major thing. So if what's standing in your way is getting more backups, and getting a little bit more damage gets you there to more backups, then that's a higher priority than just 22ing or nothing. That'll speed you up, actually. But that seems to be a concept that people struggle with as well. I got a lot of bad feedback when I made an extra 21 Eternal on the side, because a lot of people just have like 22 nothing brain. And if you're built up properly and you have the system for it and you are doing the highest level bosses, but if you're staying together with a group of homies because you want to do the bosses together, you have no support in your party, so you have to do everything pure DPS, and you have like 2 and 3 minutes, you know, that are not optimized, and you have 2-minute people who are just playing as 3-minute. You're losing a lot of damage because of that. You have to make some sacrifices if you want to make that party work. If you don't care about all of that and you have loyalty in other places and you just, you know, want to get the fastest progress for yourself personally, then you make different decisions, right? But it's all about being able to see your situation, seeing what isn't required for yourself, and then making decisions based on that, and not just trying to impose on others what, like, yeah, it needs to be done. So I think, judging by the numbers that you're at and the situation that the game is in, that you can keep doing what you're doing to just go 22 or nothing on the hat. I don't think that's a higher risk. I think that's just what the game calls for at this point. So okay. I wouldn't feel bad about that change in strategy at all, because I think the underlying the foundation of that strategy is still the same. It's like you take the amount of risk that you're willing to take and that is reasonable for your account. If you were like 272 or something and you had, you know, still a bunch of 21s and you're going like 22 or nothing on Eternals when you still had like, you know, 19-star kind of treasure ring or something and slime ring in your account, then that'd be like, there's something off there, right? There's a little, I feel like you know, need to reevaluate that a little bit. But I think everything, at least all the things I'm seeing, is that it's all congruent with each other. It all makes sense. There's nothing like way out of whack, at least from what I've seen so far.
Okay.
Yeah. Obviously, the individual upgrade is a bigger risk, but that's what the game just pushes you to, to be a greater risk. Because let's face it, I mean, until the item is 22, it's just not done, right? You can't really lock it in. You can't really work on the flame too well. You can't really work on the potential, because what if you end up having to use another one? Then you have to spend all of that money again.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to just want this. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Potential trace.
Yeah, nothing worse than people just like linking pitches with just 60 to 70 bill and like potential plus a flame sitting on it, and it's just like, yeah, can't be used. That's rough. Because now they have to 22 or nothing. Whereas if you build yourself up Star Force wise with lower risk until you get to 22, and then commit with the Star Force and the, then commit with the potential and with the flames, I think then you're in a great spot. Yeah. So does that clarify the Eternal transition for you, or were there still things on that topic that you were wondering about?
Yeah, that clarifies me a lot. The Eternal thing.
Okay.
I will just keep throwing huts until one hit.
Hope it hits, man. Yeah. I think you guys could do, but I would work towards Sea Kalos, because that cuts the time that you can try another hat in half, and that is a major increase, and there's a very small chance for boxes as well, which is really, really nice. So I would, with how strong you are, and if your party's in that point, I would see if you can find an extra 2, or do a pickup every week. Find like 1 or 2 people until you have some people that it clicks with, who want to stay on permanently. But yeah, if you have a solid, yeah, I mean, you guys all scale to 3 minute, right? Shadowrun does like 90-second stuff and then 3 minute stuff at Nightwalker. So you guys can go super hard burst on 3 minute and try a 3-3 setup for Sea Kalos. I just try to specifically go for some 3 minute people. You have a bit more DPM. You could try for like a second support, like a battle mage or something. That could work, right? Because they can keep up your DPM quite a bit both for the Shadowrun and for you. That would be pretty nice.
I also expect to be more people and more like announcements on like post from people to looking for Sea Kalos once we get the summer update.
Yeah.
There are so many people waiting for that.
Definitely,
like 20 to 25% FD increase.
Yeah, yeah. Some classes are getting an insane amount. Like Thunderbreakers, Kaisers, I think, are getting an insane amount of damage. Yeah. Yeah, that should be cool. But yeah, just be on the lookout. But it'll be a good idea also to already check on people who have the aspirations to do that, so you can already start doing a little bit of the practice, so you can start having some kind of idea on how to do it. You're gonna have to redo it anyway, right? Just to make sure that you have the right segments and the right groups of 3 people to burst on the right times, or do the origins at the right times. But it's good to have that locked in, because I think everyone just wants that clarity to make sure that we all have a time slot per week, and that we can just show up, do our thing, and it's not a whole thing every week of like finding an extra person, because it's so demotivating, right? It's like, do we get more people, or do we just knock out these normal calls and easy culling with like 4-man that we can do easily and just call it a week? But then before you know it, it's like 3 months later, and you're like, fuck, if 3 months ago we had, pushed a little bit harder, maybe we're in like clear number 6 or 7 of Sea Kalos, so we could have had an extra piece or an extra piece and a half by now. And because you're so time gated, you do feel that pressure to move upwards, right? I don't think there's too much pressure to move into extreme Kalos or anything, but even in Hyperion, that's still relatively new. I think Sea Kalos is like a reasonable goal if you're at the 285 and you've picked to get to that level. But yeah, it looks good. Yeah, for the summer. If you improve your CP, is that what you use still mainly as your kind of like goal on just as a number go up equals progress kind of thing?
I like to see the number, like the big number. And I don't know what else to do. I mean, I know I have some
culvert. No, just kidding.
what can I say this? Like room from improvement.
Room for improvement. Yeah.
Yeah. But like gear wise, like my current gear,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else to do to like improve without that being realistic, like not double priming
Yeah. Okay.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. But that's a good parameter to because you talk about like what is realistic, because double priming. I mean, you said you're making like 25 to 30 bill a week, right? So I mean, that probably means that you're getting into the realm of double priming or trying to 23 pretty soon. But you need always just to have enough money on the side to whenever internal or a pitch happens. What's the pitch situation here?
I'm forced at the moment.
Force. Okay.
It's the pocket item.
Book, yeah, and the reserved.
Yeah, the two Lomian
Eye
pitches
patch. Mm-hmm.
and the emblem.
And emblem. Oh yeah, gotcha. Okay, yeah. That's in the here probably. So did you put it with the armor? Oh no, you have WSC separate probably. Yeah. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Open as the
There I got another question for later because I got two secondaries and I kind of don't know which one to use because the bossing one, like the triple mat, it lowers my CP. Some people told me that I should use that one, even though my CP gets like lower, but like I'm supposed to have like more damage, even if it's hidden. But you know, since people judge you by the CP, and my class is not very like what's the word?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah, it's already not impressive, or you don't have inflated CP, so you're gonna need to, for appearances, you want the number to be as big as possible. Yeah.
Yeah, like to get big for parties.
Yeah. Yeah, and this just blows, because that's why I'm asking, like, are you sure you want to just look at CP for the number? Because even if you yourself know that CP does not equal damage, if other people think it does, you still have to treat it like it does, because it's like investing in a stock. Like, do you think the stock is going to do well? Like, I don't think so, but other people think it is, so therefore I'm going to invest in it, because it's probably going to go up if other people think, right? You're doing like a secondary thing there rather than a primary thing for yourself. Because you have a line of boss on the weapon, so this is like pure like just me guessing, but because you have a line of boss on the weapon, and because you're a Kant user, that increases your boss damage a lot. I think there's more deflation of boss damage value, and even though that's a double prime, I would be feel pretty confident to say that the 3-line magic tech is going to be better. Essentially, like a 40.99 and a 12.99 would be about the same, or probably slightly in favor of the boss damage. So you have like slightly in favor of the magic attack, but we got like an extra 5% boss damage there. But I think because of the weapon and the fact that you use a Conjuring, I would assume that the 3-line magic attack is better. Have you done like BAs with both to kind of just see?
No, I haven't. I thought about okay, I can use the 2-line bossing and 1-line mat until I have 3 familiars of bossing, and then I switch so I can compensate like the boss I'm losing from the other secondary.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good idea or not.
But that's basically where I'm thinking it's like a similar line of thought, right? It's like, where is that turning point where the boss damage loses its value a little bit compared to magic attack? Boss damage is definitely, you look at all the other damage percentage, but most of the damage percent is pretty stable. It's mostly based on boss damage, right, from sources like WC and from familiars. I think because of the con and because of the line on your weapon, you probably are already at that point, but boss damage from familiars would definitely push you past that point. Yeah, 100%. What you can also do is just, when you're looking for a party, just equip the boss damage one, and then as soon as you're ready to go into the boss, you just switch to the magic attack one just to do more damage, right? I mean, if people are going to use the wrong number to make wrong assumptions based on it, you can't, like, stop that, but that doesn't mean that you have to hurt your own personal damage. I think what I probably do is just do a 3-minute BA on both, and just see if there's a significant difference and what the difference is. Maybe do like a few on each, because of rounding error and everything. But I assume they would be pretty close, and I would think it'd be slightly in favor of the magic attack one. But if the difference is really small, and if it helps you get into parties, then by all means equip the boss damage one to do that. But yeah, you got the magic attack, nice. And it's your 7 on the rod is that's solid.
That's the other reason why I haven't 3-lined my Jenny. For the same logic that
yeah,
I'm gonna lose the boss damage. I will stay that. But maybe in the future,
maybe if you hit the boss fams or
yeah, I can go like 9-0-0. Or...
I'm
8. If I use the 3-line, I'm 8-1-0. I believe.
8-1-0, yeah. Yeah, because your emblem and your Yeah, and then if you hit 3-line on the and if you hit 3-line magic attack on the weapon, then maybe the boss one becomes better again now. Until you get the boss fams. Yeah, 6-3. Yeah, that is definitely one way to get damage. I guess we could look at the other things, but the other things is it essentially waiting for pitches and Eternals? Or there's still some... I guess there's still like one more round of 3-lining everything, right? Like full 3-lining.
Yeah, there are some potentials. I did like some calculations, and across the board, I'm missing like 20 to 25% stat. If I like min-max like 30 to 33%. Because some of them are missing like 3%. A bunch of them are missing like 3%.
Yeah. Yeah, if you add that all up, and mainly the ones on accessories are decently cheap to get, right? But there's probably Cube Sale in May, so that could be just a good time to square that away for that, to like save up for that specifically, I think, right? Because otherwise you're just doing Eternals and pitches, and you're probably going to make more money than you can spend on your Eternals and pitches. Like they're going to boom, and then you're going to have money left, and then that it's best to save that up for min-maxing your pots, I think.
Yeah, that's why I start throwing mesos on my shade.
Yeah, that's the alternative, right? But remember, don't just throw money on a character because you can. Have a purpose for the character, right? If it's going to be a Legion champion, that's going to be a purpose that requires way more funding. But if it's a boss mule, there's always going to be opportunities to spend on everything all the time. But if that's going to take away future opportunities from your main character that it will need, quote unquote, right? Need is always relative in this game, of course, but it will need to keep maintain its progression and to go to the next step and everything, because it is now you're definitely in the area of all the little bits, right? It's like, oh, do I take 5% more boss damage on the secondary versus the other 3-line I have? It's like, oh, 3% stat, that's not much, but 3% stat on 8 items is 24% stat. That's basically one whole item's worth of stat extra that if you were to get that anywhere else would cost way more. Right, because accessory cubing is not that crazy with glowings to get to 30% on 150. It's like 6.5 bill. Sure, you have to do that on 8 pieces. That's like 50 to 60 bill, but that's about as much as going from single to double prime on a single piece with bright cubes, right? And that's to gain 3%, and this is to gain 24%. So that's just so much more value, right? So that's probably, after like a Star Force event, that's probably the next thing that I would look at, is just to finish up all those 3%. Maybe not as much on like the arcanes, but definitely on the accessories first to see if you can get all of those done.
Okay, that's good to know. Prioritize accessories instead of the armor pieces.
Yeah, because if you would do this on an armor, I don't know, like on a cape or something, to gain also 3%, right? So this is like 6.5. If you put this on 33 here, like cape is the cheapest one. If you go shoes, if you go top, oh, it's on 200, sorry, but still, right? That's just more expensive for the exact same gains. So that's when you really start just throwing it into this calculator just to double check on like, where do I spend? And accessories are just the cheapest. Well, heart is the cheapest. But for heart, you have to think about, are you going to be moving into black heart soon? Then, min-maxing on it is maybe not the most, necessary. But otherwise, the heart is the cheapest. See, by quite a bit. But you're playing, at this point, if you just want to increase your CP, you want to increase your damage, you're playing a game of, in the beginning, it's just like getting more things, right? And getting more set bonuses, and doing a little bit of everything. But now, you've basically done everything that you can. So now it's going back to the basics and just min-maxing on individual systems. And then cubing becomes really good. Up until now, it's perfectly fine. Like, these potentials, again, like, I'm not seeing anything crazy here in your account. Like, the fact that it's already 22 and it's got a good flame, and it's just a potential that's not min-max, this is great. Because cubing is also something that you can do off-event really fine. Because the events are 6 months apart, and even then it's only 25% off. Like, it's even less than a 30% off Star Force event, right? Which is not even the better Star Force event, because 5, 10, 15 is better, right? So even with that, this is like a really good position to be in. So I feel very confident that you're building your account properly, and that you've had already a lot of knowledge, like, going into building this stuff. Because I can see that there's nothing that you did that was like, oh, this is like super stupid. Like, I can't believe you've done this. Like, this is all like together with each other. Like, what is the worst potential? Is your hat? What is the worst potential to cube? That's hats. So, like, it makes perfect sense that one is just not quite there yet, because that's the one that's just way more expensive, and it's just way more annoying to do. So it's all consistent. So I feel very, very good about all that. But yeah, so on the one hand, CP is inflatable, right? So if you want to inflate it artificially, there's a few things you can do just to make it look bigger to get into parties. What you can do is you can set your hyperstats to inflate. You can take everything out of IED. You can put it all into regular damage and boss damage and stat and int. That makes your CP go up. You can make a shitty inner ability with just 20% boss on top and magic attack on the second and third line to inflate. And you can set yourself to a Legion setup, which is what I do as well, that only increases the stats that are reflected in combat power, and put only the characters in there with the highest individual combat power, rather than the characters that would give you more damage, so that your combat power, so that your setup would look something like this.
Oh, okay.
And then that will actually artificially inflate your combat power and just make the number bigger. I do this because it increases my Legion raid power, and then it gives me more Legion coins. But also I'm trying to just like increase the Legion raid power score. And then if you log out, always log out with, if you have boss fems, always log out with boss fems, because that will increase the score as well. And then as soon as you, as long as you stay logged out, it stays that score.
Mm-hmm.
So those are all like little things that you could do. I don't do the things with the inner ability. I do log out on my bossing hyperstat always and my bossing inner ability, but I could technically make different sets for that. I haven't worked to that level. I haven't done it all. But these are little things, and again, none of these individual things is gonna like completely break and make your CP like insane. But if you can get a few mil here, a few mil there, when you're already like getting close to 300 mil, it's gonna look different, right? If you can get all of those little things, you might increase it by like 10 mil if you do all those things combined. Which, if that's the thing that people are gonna look for, that might help you just enough to inflate the CP a little bit.
I see. I also have my Hexa stat. I haven't unlocked the second Hexa.
Oh yeah.
Because I leveled to 285 in December, I believe. Yeah, December. And I kinda like stopped playing the Lumi and start playing the Shade, which is like 272 or
272,
yeah.
okay.
And I was like full time playing the Shade during like January and part of February. And that's why the Hexa statue it's not like unlocked yet. I believe that will also increase my CP.
Yeah, and also because your DPM, the Hexa stat is really nice, right? Because you're just gonna have your just average damage is gonna go up quite a bit, like your baseline damage. Is it in your I don't know if you're following like a Hexa plan specifically, but is it like in your Hexa level up thing?
No, I follow when they release 6th job, I follow the infographic from Hexas. during the first 2 weeks, and then I start freestyling.
Yeah, okay. Nice, okay. Yep. Yeah, because I think the Hexa stat, it's a lot more expensive to unlock, but it's the second one, but the rolling is still the same cost, so once you start getting really far into the Hexa builds, it'll be a lot more valuable to just keep... yeah, I think the second Hexa stat is really good value, but I guess at this point you have to look at... You have to compare that to third and fourth masteries, how much they're going to bring, and if holding on the fragments for that is going to be better. But you're going to, yeah, potentially get yourself Urda energy, right, gated. If you save a lot for third and fourth mastery, and then you're going to have fragments to spare, and then you might as well put them into the Hexa stat to put them to work, right?
My Hexa is in the skill link.
The skill link?
Yeah, it's in case
This
you
one?
want to check. No, the below WSC.
Below WSE skills. Oh, there you go. I must have skipped one accidentally, my bad. Oh, I consistently keep level 1 on these. I love this. Is the, I guess you almost never use the Soul Urda, right? Is this, you never feel the need to have this one usable a bit more?
I actually should be using that bind instead of my class bind.
Yeah, so you can keep the iframe, right? Whenever you need it.
Yeah, that's a mistake by my side.
You can level it a little bit, but it doesn't need to be that leveled if you need to get it to 3-minute cooldown, right? It was like level... Probably doesn't even need to be level 10, like level 7 or something.
Yeah.
Should be pretty... Just a few like EXP nodes and you're done there, right?
Yeah, I should. The trio that you see below, I'm working to like max them in preparation for the new mastery.
Yeah, because I was looking at that. I went through the whole thing. No, not masteries. Matrix. I went through the whole thing where I saw like the... God damn it. The third and fourth masteries, because it happened to a few classes. Like it happened to Arc, for example. I know because I play it. On the first mastery coming out, that we had to add an extra skill to our current set, or we had to switch something around, otherwise we couldn't even unlock it. And then for the second one, I had to do that for the Cannoneer. You had to add the Nautilus, which, you know, you would never use, because Cannoneer already has so much mobbing, but if you don't level it up, you can't even unlock your mastery. So I redid the whole, like, skills to boost, and also got rid of the old system where it's like trio number 1, trio number 2 kind of thing, right? Where you had very limited space in the matrix, and you had to be much more careful with what you leveled up. Where now it's just like, oh, you could just mix and match everything, right? Because you make so much space so quickly. So I mapped out the variants of like how many different mastery lines there are in the boost nodes, and also make sure that all of the skills that you're going to need for third and fourth mastery are also all included there for people who are now building their V matrix, so you don't like build the perfect V matrix and then, oh, new update, and like, shit. Now you have to like redo. But it's a good thing that there's so much space now, so it makes it a lot easier to just add them, right? But I guess it's yeah, mostly side things. Okay, what do I have here? Contract F Lumi. So end up leveling Reflection Apocalypse, Ender, Spectral Light, Morningstar, Death Scythe, and then Morningstar will probably be renamed, right?
Yeah, the Morningstar is Twilight Nova. It's a new skill.
Twilight Nova, yeah. I guess I can't do. For completion, right?
Yep.
Morning Star will be renamed to Twilight Nova. Nice name. Yep, and then fifth job. Okay, so you can Solianus at 10, and then working on. Yeah, you got the crit damage. Magic int. 767, that's nice. Yeah, you'd have to throw it through a calculator, but I think you're probably in a good, because it's going to add a lot of damage for you, right? Third and fourth mastery.
Yeah, It's like 25% FD.
Yeah,
It's a
that's
lot.
crazy. So I'll probably save all the frags I could, and then, once you
It,
run into running out of soul or the energy, then unlock the Hexa stat with it and level that one up.
mhm.
Keeping in mind the event, right? So if you get to level 5 on the main one, you can pause for a sunny Sunday or something.
Yeah, I think I will do that. Like instead of like YOLO to like from 0 to 20,
Mm-hmm.
like like throw fragments until the main stat is level 5 and then stop.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to do, but my last two only reached level 4, so I didn't even get to do that. So hopefully you get to do that.
Oh, damn.
I had level 7 and level 6, I think, on the first two for my two characters, and then the second ones both stopped at 4, like a 4-8-8 and a 4-6-10, like the worst. Two of the bottom 4 worst outcomes, I think. So it do be like that sometimes. I'll redo it eventually, once I have enough fragments for that. But for now, just even the passive damage from it is really useful. So it's better to just have something in there than nothing, honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. We should focus on pushing levels and maybe work on meals. Oh yeah. So I don't. So you've looked at some KMS stuff as well, probably, right? So that makes you think of like general account progression, like Legion Champion, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of this game is basically this is the, I don't know if that will make sense to you, but like the question is like, do you go vertically or horizontally, right? Do you go in width or do you go in depth? Do you go deeper
Oh, I
into the
see.
game content, or do you broaden out your bases, your fundamentals? This has to do partially with how far you want to eventually go, how much time you have, and has to do with what you enjoy. Because it can be that like the content that you're around now is like good enough for you and is fun for you, and you'd rather do more of that rather than having it all just be a thing that is just there as a vehicle to facilitate doing even more in the future, because then you're setting yourself up to investing in something that's not here yet. This all goes into like the whole setup between GMS and KMS, right? Where in KMS you can already see what's coming roughly 6 months from now, which is very effective in keeping people locked into the game forever and keep on running on the treadmill, as they say, right? Where you're moving a lot but you're not going anywhere. It's really effective for GMS because it makes people committed to the game, and a lot of peer pressure between people on like keep on min-maxing and putting a lot of hours in, just because they know that something is coming and they want to be ready when it gets there. But you're also never done, and you're never content, and you're never, where you want to be. You're always working on the next thing. And it's always a good idea just to have that question out loud and just really think about what you do want to do. Because, yeah, 290 is available, and Telehard is here. And there's a new symbol with more drop rate and Meso and EXP. And it's going to allow you to get to 295 faster. And the next boss is going to be 290. And do you want to be able to do it, within a reasonable time frame after it's released? Versus, do you enjoy grinding all day, every day? Versus, grinding now is, I think, soul-crushingly boring. It's like sitting in one spot, putting some summons around the map, pressing one button, and then, yeah, I don't know, watching anime, watching streams, watching movies, or working from home like some people do. If that's, for some people that's fun, that progress, and then seeing the numbers go up and maybe being able to, whenever a new system comes out, immediately going deep into that system, that's more fun. Other people like bossing on different characters more. My thoughts on this, like, I don't think the crystal change, right, the 180 to 90, I don't think that's coming for us. If it does, it probably will be in a different way. Something similar might happen in a way of taking away the capacity for a system if it's making people feel bad that they're not reaching the max, versus it functionally helping people progress, like with the crystal amount in Korea. Then it's probably a good thing that they're addressing that and then replacing that hopefully with another system that people actually do want to commit to. But just copying that change, I don't think is gonna happen, or definitely not should happen. The thing with Legion Champion, though, I think is probably going to be instituted like pretty much exactly the same for us. So working towards 6 total big characters you want to hardcore commit to in the distant future, but like 3 for now that you want to decently commit to, is probably a good idea to both get good boss income, penetrate through the game pretty far without getting too wide, and also giving you like a more, specific focus on that I think is safe and future-proof, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think the answer to your question about going vertically or horizontal, for me, I see that I want to go vertically as long as the game allows me, and when the game's stops me from keep going vertically, I will go horizontally. Like for example, right now as you can see, I'm Pitch waiting room and Eternal's waiting room, so I cannot
familiar,
go
right, as well.
And familiar, because I'm only one bossing familiar. I need 2 more. So even if I want to, I can't keep going vertically, like in terms of gear. So I have to go horizontal.
The other option is just like endless grind on the main, right? Then you'd still go vertically, but you will lose a lot of I would see that as losing value for the hours that you're doing, but for other people that's more valuable because then they're always future-proof on things that are coming. They always have a whole bunch of fragments lying around. They always have the levels immediately. They don't have level penalty on new content. They even have level bonus damage, right? So they'll always be ready for new content before it's even out. Yeah. And events are doing a good job, I think, now in giving a lot of EXP and resources. The main thing you're going to get behind on, though, with all the kind of like fake EXP, because I'm getting most of my EXP through dailies and events and that kind of stuff, and that helps with verticality. With horizontality, I guess more. But the big problem is fragments. In pushing Hexa on one character is already, it's already a lot of work. Putting a Hexa on anything more than one character means that everything is going to have a shitty Hexa. We're just not in that system. We're only now just in the system where you get plenty of nodes that you can just throw around, right, with events, and you can actually fund a bunch of V matrices on boss meals without having to worry about it. That's probably going to take another year or 2 or 3 before we get the amount of fragments where you can just I want to fund this character, let me just throw 2,000 fragments on there, right? Because that whole system is just built around the market and interactive. And for heroic, you have to just be way more focused. That's why I'm saying definitely get your number 2 is getting up and running. Maybe start looking for a number 3 that you want to give some more attention to. Look for maybe exchange carries. Look for because what's your liberation status with all the characters in your account?
My shade started December. It's gonna leave in July, I believe.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay.
And if I have to find another one on the list in the top row, it will be my Demon Slayer, because it has a lot of luck. She already have a RFS.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's very nice, yeah. And you have good boss knowledge already, so you can. It's not as much of a double-edged blade for you as it would be for a more new player.
Yeah.
So that's good. Yeah, and that's the other thing. If there's a bunch of characters you like equally, and that's also ties back a little bit into getting riskier with star forcing. If you don't risk the star force ever, you're also never going to succeed, right? And you see people around you risking and actually succeeding, and it's if you never even tried to go for 22 or nothing, you will never reach it, right? If you always go for the safe option. And it's kind of the same thing with the bossing. If you expose your character as much as possible to trying to get armor boxes, trying to get pitches, then they can get it. And then if you like the characters equally, but one has, 5 armors already, and the other one only has 1 box or something, and one has already 2 pitches before even getting into 265, and you like them equally, well, why not pick the character that's already, got those drops? It's already set up to succeed more than the other one. So that's a totally fine way of looking at that. Yeah.
And also because I have a second backped on the resistance branch.
Okay, yeah, that'd be very nice.
That's why I have a Xenon.
Oh yeah, gotcha. Yeah. Usually with the summer and winter update, the week before that is usually a cash up transfer. So if you do want to revise that, you still can before summer, right? But yeah, fact bets. Oh god, it's really that lifestyle creep that we can never go back to not having those. The whole game would feel so bad not having them. The whole way that looting works in general is just an interesting concept. You have a two-dimensional game, but you have to like walk over things with a third-party like character thing that kind of follows you, but doesn't really sometimes. Like
there is no way I farm like past 260 without a backped anymore.
No. Yeah, you have to give up on so much money by not looting, or so much EXP by just like running around the map extra. Once you have Solyanas and you have the summons, and they're actually clearing the map, then maybe you can run around without fact bets, but like then you have to walk over things 2 or 3 times by the time you get there again. It's just, yeah. No, even now, yeah, I'm doing some levels with the champion burning, right? Or with the Legion burning. Doing that even without fact bets is just torture at this point, yeah. Can never really go back. Okay, so maybe the Demon Slayer. Yeah, and that's because of the... are you familiar with the Legion champion and like the requirements for that a little bit?
Yeah, I've been reading about it.
Yeah.
I'm certainly sure that I'm never going to attempt to the last buff, the Kalos, the ID.
Mm-hmm.
Like the maximum I will try to go is for 7, and even that it's pretty hard.
Yeah.
Like to find a mule up to that point to sub 20 minutes H7.
Yeah, I mean, you might maybe on the main character or something maybe able to do the Kalos thing, right? Because it also counts in practice mode, right? So you can always try it without having to lose your weekly run.
Oh yeah, on the main for sure, yeah.
Yeah, on the main, but yeah, on any other character. Because their ID is already good. There's more IED coming from the system as well. There's buffs. You guys have even a little bit more IED, right? Because of the smaller guild pool than we do. So Hyperion, your guild skill IED is going to be higher. And if you do need IED for anything in the future, the first thing we do is just grab IED familiars. So, and for you, I guess your Legion board even, right? You're not using IED. I think this is your...
I have very different. Yeah, the second one, it's the one I use on my Lumi, because the buff duration, equilibrium.
Yeah. And if you have enough crit, is that the...
Oh, those pieces are wrong placed. I need to remake it. I'm waiting for the in-game Legion solver.
Oh, gotcha.
I need to remake it. Yeah.
Because one thing some people do is they'll put like magic attack here and then like int here, and just do straight line with a fucking archer pieces. There we go. And then connect critical damage and buff duration like through IED instead.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I think that might be a little bit better. But yeah, you want to have as little in crit rate as you need, right? But then whether still more in IED is better or magic... well, you fill up int first, right? Then magic attack for mages. Int higher priority because it's 5 per block, and magic attack is only like, flame score like around 3 or maybe even a little bit lower because your weapon is higher. So your tier 7 flame is a bit higher. But it's about a 5 to 3 value, right? So then you want to prioritize int over the magic attack. But yeah, you got a little bit here and a little bit there, and then 1 extra because you have like a squiggle line here. You lose 1 extra. I think you have that in the other setup as well, right? Yeah. But if you put them next to each other and then switch that over, you always gain 1 little block. I know this is all like very small things, but it's like 1 here, 2 there, 3 there, 4 there, 5 there, 6 there, and now it's 6 extra, right? So now it's all the little bits that add up. Have you ever used the external one?
Yeah, I did for the 8K or
Hmm.
8.5. I don't remember.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
now you
then
have
when
like
I got to when
250s.
oh wait, sorry.
Now you have like level 250 characters, right? I could just like see the
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Then
every
I start
spot is just
leveling. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm. And
Very
I was
yeah.
too bother to like
I
remake
get
it
it.
again.
I get it. I get it. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm like a Tetris nerd lover, so I love messing around with the Legion stuff. So I like to do it myself, but then sometimes yeah I'll get frustrated and have to do it. But so like my main setup is so like this one for the power for the
Mhm.
Legion Ray power, and then this one now is for mobbing. So it's like main stat, secondary stat, weapon or magic attack, all, and then into crit rate. I guess technical, but I'm not mobbing on anything where buff duration is useful. Otherwise, I would have another one. And this one is for the mages. So this one also priority int pieces and luck pieces. And then this one is for the DA. So like for the HP build, and then priority the HP pieces, both of them. And then strength, even though that does barely anything, and then a little bit into crit. But I guess this one, yeah, you see, even with 10k, you can barely fill out like all of these. I guess technically for the DA, the IDs maybe not the best, and maybe going into tech. I have to use a calculator for that, and I'm too lazy for that as well, so I totally get it. And then I don't need crit for the other one, so this is the attack one, so that's mostly the strength pieces and the dex pieces. And then try and fill out the stat. Oh, that's been on dex the whole time. I've not been switching that whenever I switch characters, I just realized. And then into attack. But yeah, it's crazy how long it takes now to really fill out your Legion, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Between like 6.5 and like 9k or like 8.5, like you still, there's so much more surface to be gained. But now you have, do you have both special pieces? You have one now, because Hyperion started after the last one, right? You just have the ride or die one?
Yeah, I mean the Hyperion start before the minor forest. No, what's it
The
called?
Abyssal Expedition, that
Yeah,
one?
yeah,
Yeah.
the Abyssal Experience. Yeah, I mean
Mm-hmm.
I could have gotten that, but I was too busy,
Gotcha. Okay.
so
Okay.
I didn't did the event.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I only have one.
And now you feel bad, probably a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
The 35 attack, yeah, that's it's pretty juicy. But there's probably going to be another event. But for me, this was the one with the third piece now. But I can't even put it because I have the old the lab server piece, right? This one. So now there's like I have this one, and then this one in. So I can't even use this one because it's like, oh, it's already too special.
Oh,
So just sitting here, the Kazakh piece is just yeah, and they all give the same stats. So if they were a little bit different, or but so eventually, yeah, eventually there'll be another one, and then you'll be maxed, and then other people will be like, oh, that's a third one, I can't use that one. So then they might skimp out of that event, and then it'll be more opportunity for you to cash in.
yeah.
How to get here? Vertical to horizontal. So yeah, so I think definitely top 2, hard focus. Start thinking about a third, and for total bossing, I think start looking towards 6 characters is probably a good idea. I would only ever think about more than that if you're thinking about consistently trying to keep up black hearts on more than 2 characters. Then I would start thinking about even more boss meals. But even then, that's not something you have to work about now. That's something that will just automatically happen as you get free more 260s from events. Hyperburns, Hyperburnators, the Kimetsu no Yaiba Demon Slayer crossover event. Next summer, 2 more, right? It's just going to rain 260s. And at that point, it's just going to be free bossing mules because you're going to have a bunch of free nodes. And you're going to be able to unlock 6 job very quickly. With some boosters and a node, you can do it in like 15 minutes, suddenly get 6 job with all the cutscenes and everything. And then you can kind of think, which character is it worth unlocking some masteries for and blowing up some bosses if you want to. Even without Liberation, very easily be able to do hard loads under 10 minutes. And then, yeah, it'll be up to you how many you want to do. I spread myself a little bit too thin probably, so I would advise less than what I'm doing. But as long as it's consistent with what you want to do with your account, and if you really have just one main and then one like a little side, then in total, if you have, I think like around 8 or so Hard Lotus runners, you should already be able to upkeep, I think, 100 uptime. But if you just want one, and then maybe some extra here and there for like hard liberation quests, because you've seen the liberation changes in Korea.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be 100% the same for us, but I think it's probably going to be just copied over. So that'll make it, from now on, a lot harder to finish liberation on characters that are just side characters, right? That you're just not really thinking about. It's going to be way more active with them instead of just like jumping into one red dot BM run every once a month for like 10 to 15 minutes, or I guess in Hyperion maybe 15 to 20 minutes. It's going to be way more intense. It's going to be weekly, all the bosses to get as many points in as small a party as possible. And we don't even know if like you're going to have to blue dot or red dot or green dot, right? Because that dot system is not in Korea anymore. So I was also not sure if there's going to be a damage requirement on that at all. And if there is, it's going to... Just liberating, quote unquote, your character is not going to be as available and just like free damage on your character anymore. And that's probably going to be also in line with narrowing it down to like at most 6 characters versus what I'm doing is just live 15 characters, and some people probably have even way more because it's so available. So that'll be a different way of thinking about funding your whole account and where to go with characters individually.
And right now I have this front page project that appears on the document that I want to be able to boss on all 12 characters that appear in the front page.
What a zoo over here.
The bottom line are the mules, like pure mules.
Pure mules,
go
yeah.
up to
Gotcha.
Lomian. And the top row are the actual main characters, like my top, the 6 ones I want to like Legion Champ.
That'll be Legion Champ. Okay, yeah. Yeah, and I think that's what the design is also towards, because in the past it was 4 characters, right? 4 on top, 4 on the bottom, like 8 per page. It was a lot smaller. And I think that's their goal, like a Legion Champion line on the top, and then on the bottom, like spare boss mules. And they're all already bossing right now? Or when you say like you want to boss on all 12, you do also want to scale them up a little bit?
No, they're not bossing. Below, there is like a resume of the current state of my boss
okay,
mules.
yeah. Duo C10. Okay.
Like, for example, the Buccaneer is completely empty. I'm waiting for the next summer Hyperboom.
Gotcha, okay.
Like,
but you've played all the characters, yeah. So, because of your Legion, so you've already narrowed it down to which ones you want to put more effort into.
Yeah.
Buster. Oh, okay, gotcha. So you basically want to bring all these up to... yeah, I use this one, so for myself, to kind of like to track how much money I'm making. And then I use that also to track that I don't go over on the crystals. And kind of like based on, like these 2 were added the last event, so these are like the lowest in the rank. These 2 I had on the side and were already funded, but are doing a little bit more, but they're doing basically the same now, just a little bit faster still. And then this group is doing, you see, like these are doing the same bosses, but these are doing like up to normal Tenebris solo. But these are also the ones that I don't really care if they get drops or anything, right? They're really just, all of these are just really just to make money. And then these ones are going to be like the top 6. I guess maybe I should put the fire poison there. There you go. So these are going to be like the top 6. And these are doing things also in mind with hopefully getting pitches, hopefully getting all the skill rings, right? That's the thing in mind for that. And then these were all leveled truly with the purpose of being boss mules. So I also had like the full page basically with 1 slot left. And then because of the hyperburns, I was like, fuck, it's free 260s. I have a bunch of resources. I will add them as well, just for more black hearts, essentially. It allowed me to experiment as well with like different levels of funding to see what is enough and what is, you know, how much you really need of all the resources. But it was a really big eye opener on just how much 6 job just increases your damage a ton, and how much weight that takes off of how much funding you need to do on a character.
I see.
But yeah, it helps keep track of you know, not overselling, not underselling, keeping it optimal as well. You know, fun and optimal as well, so you don't have to run around do too many bosses.
I will save this one.
Yeah, you can save it, use it for yourself, and make a copy. I put also some bosses in here that you might not do, just to have them for completion, so anyone can use it. But so it counts, like it does the total here to multiply the money, and here it counts the amount of crystals. So if you sell a smaller crystal, it still count as 1. So this goes up to 14. Right here, you have to make sure it doesn't go over 14. And then here you have to, on the bottom right, make sure it doesn't go over 180. And then here it gives you, I mean, not a single month is going to be exactly this amount, right? Sometimes you sell a wrong crystal or you don't run all the characters, but this way you have an idea of what your potential earnings could be. And you could also set up like, what if I could, what is the ultimate goal for the characters? How much money would that be? And see, wow, that's maybe even like too much, right? That's going to take too much time. Maybe I can aim a little bit lower, because aiming a little bit lower on the weekly income usually means a lot lower on the investment on the characters to be able to do it, right?
Yeah.
Or a lot less time per week, and that saves more time to grind and actually maybe get to 290 on the main character, because it's a slog past 285. But again, like you said right in the beginning, it's all about consistency there. If you keep always getting, with the amount that you pay, if you do like at least half an hour, but up to like an hour on the main character, and then everything else is for the account, you'll still see decent progress. You keep doing that Monster Park Extreme, you get your weeklies for the Epic Dungeon, tomato tickets, stuff like that, right, from events that are probably on the way from KMS. Those are the big chunks of EXP, as long as you keep those doing. Are you doing the Guild Castle as well weekly?
No, I'm not.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a good one to do if you're planning on now working on this and playing a little bit more specifically horizontally. Keeping up those dailies and weeklies on the Lumi, I think, is a good idea, because the more you build that up in the Guild Castle, the better the value will become of it later, and it'll also start bringing in fragments and everything. But it's a long process to build it up, so the sooner you start that, the better, I think. And it's just like 5,000 monsters a week, but it's good EXP, and you don't have to worry about coupons, right? You don't have to worry about any tickets, and it's really lazy, just sitting there and chill with Solianus. If you put it on Dusk, you just press a button every 7 seconds, and it's a pretty good chunk. Like, people who are doing it now in the 285s in the guild, when they get to the higher maps and they get like the bonus EXP, it's like 0.5% per week just from doing that.
Well,
bosses give EXP. Well, I think bosses should give more EXP, but that's a whole other thing. Like, if you kill Black Mage and you get like 0.0001%, it's like, okay, well, I mean, I know we're here primarily for the loot, but I feel like there should be give some EXP as well, but I guess I want to keep that separate.
I need to finish my Meso drop as well. I'm also working on that.
Are you in the last stage to get your full set, but also with sorry, I'm checking which one it is here.
It's at the bottom of the document.
I probably have it open. Oh, you have this here. Oh yeah, gotcha. Training setup. Did you go for the max number of hits by multi-target and then double unique? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that line affects reflection.
Mm-hmm.
And
bounces. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're really only giving up 5% meso or drop, which is not
yeah,
not super spooky. Yeah.
And yeah, I'm missing like three hybrids, I believe. So I was waiting for like having more future-proof idea.
Yeah, ideally. I mean, you already have some high Star Force duders in here, so I think you should be fine damage-wise, right? Not every single piece has to be a 21 piece. There's a little bit of the I don't know if it's lifestyle creep, I guess you can call it. But sometimes when you start getting really good gear or you start getting good flames or something like that, it tends to increase your standard of how much you're willing to settle for. But I like to look at always look back at like how much are you going to need, right? And what you're going to need is like an average of pieces being this strong. And if some of those go over, that's cool. That just means that the other pieces can be weaker and you'll still be strong enough. So instead of letting it, right, because again, just like boss mules are there to make money for your account, this gear is here to just make sure that it's just enough to kill the monsters and then make as much money and get as much utility for the account. But if you start, you know, getting, and again, not saying that you're doing this too much because you don't have like a whole bunch of 22-star gear, but it's probably fine to keep the stat rings, right? And not have to worry about it too much because kind of treasure, if, you know, it needs to get stronger, you probably have a bunch of those that can very easily get up to 21, right? And you can get some damage from there. Hybrids are actually pretty cheap though. Have you looked at that in a calculator on just like making a hybrid, what the average cost is?
Yeah, when I was working on them, I put in the calculator, and then I kind of like stopped working on them. I don't know why, and I've never finished them. Like it's crazy that the level I am, and I'm not even like 100 and 200 like for farming.
Yeah,
But
I think I think that was a good time to work on it. Ideally, you don't have 2 hybrid pendants and not 4 hybrid or double line rings, right? So that you can keep the Conton for bossing. And that's so that you can switch to the pendant if you need to for training. So it'll be best for you to find a set where you can have 5 Meso 10 drop on 8 pieces. So typically what that means is that you'll have so you can have 4 hybrids and 1 double drop, and then have 1 Meso ring that you wear when you don't use the con for training, and then have 1 drop rate pendant that you it's like an extra line that you get rid of, so when you have the Meso on the other line, so that you can switch that with the Spirit Pendant and still be 5 and 10. Do we need to write that out, or?
I had that setup, like the Spirit Pendant setup that I want to aim. Not sure if that's
7, 8.
That's 8 pieces.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10. Yeah, so 1. So like a greed pendant with 1 line of drop. That's like 1 piece always, basically. And you probably want 1 ring with just 1 line of 1 line of drop or 1 line of meso. Probably 1 line of drop will be the easiest, right? Because you're probably going to get hybrids way more than you get more double drops, because you already have 1 double drop earring, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you have... How many hybrids do you have right now? You have 2? Or 3? Let's see, you have the black bean mark.
I have 3.
And the ring. Yeah, and 2 rings, yeah. Yeah, so you have 3 right now already. Okay. So 2 rings. And the black bean mark. Yeah. And this one already. So you already have the hardest pieces. You could probably get this done pretty cheaply. But again, yeah, you got the 5, 10, 15 tomorrow. So we'll see what happens there. But you don't have too many projects to work on, right?
I don't have that much meso because I was on a trip.
Oh,
and
gotcha.
I
Okay.
spent, before going into this trip, I spent all my mesos 3-lining the emblem. And
good investment.
Yeah. And I only have like 20 bill to throw on my shade
Okay,
and
gotcha.
see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I would say after that, I would definitely work on the drop set first, just to get those 2 pieces completed. So for if you're going for just a 200 drop set, then make sure you can do that. So I would have like a third setup in your presets that doesn't take into account the cont, right? So you could just keep the cont on when you're switching between the box preset and the bossing preset. So it doesn't have to be taken off. And then that same piece or that same potential there, so probably 1 line of drop on the ring. But then you probably wear with a green pendant, right? So that you can make sure that you can get the extra drop rate for pitches there when you're opening boxes. And then that one will get replaced because green pendant is like 0 damage when you're mobbing. So that one will get replaced with spirit pendant when you're training. And then that will take its place, so that you'll be in a total 8 there. But I think all in all, because you already have the double drop, you'll have to make 1 extra double drop, and that can be pricey. But the hybrids are pretty cheap, and with the money you're making, I don't see this taking you longer than like 3 weeks at the most to get that all done. Probably 2 to 3 weeks to lock that in. And since you are in pitch and pitch waiting room and everything, it's mostly like damage that is not going to go to your other characters for a bit, right? And then I probably start like once you get closer to May, start saving up to really just finish out all of your potentials, get those last 3% on everything, full 3 line, as many things as possible. Definitely the hard indie accessories, and then if you don't really feel the need to also do all the arcanes, that's probably fine. But if you have the money for it, you might as well, because there's a big difference in starting to get Eternals and being almost done with Eternals, especially the pieces that are going to come from Limbo, right? You're still quite a ways off of getting those clears and getting those pieces to 22 and completely done. So doing like the shoe and the cape is probably also fine. But your shoulder was already done, I think, right?
Yeah, it's 33.
And shoulder and glove were already done, I believe. I don't remember where everything is exactly, but here. Yeah. Yeah, so consider the shoe and the cape as well, because I showed on the thing, like, I mean, the cape is lower priority because it has 2 double primes, but the shoe and the cape are like pretty close to accessories, right? They're not like, they're definitely way higher priority than the CRA pieces, and then the CRA pieces are the ones that are going to switch to Eternals first. So I probably would just skip those at this point. But like heart, then accessories, then shoe and cape. Definitely try to look for the last 3% on those.
Okay, I wrote that down. Prioritize accessories and then shoes and cape for arcane.
Because I think all of that together is like 21, 24%, something like that, right? They'll still be nice. And then that's also like done, right? Then you really don't have to worry about that anymore. The only thing that's left then is just to really just go through the pieces with flames. Because I saw there was a few pieces where the flames could be a little bit better, right?
Oh, that I haven't like actually checked that.
Okay.
I think my flames are not that great. Not sure if they can.
So it's fine.
That is something I can keep flaming.
Like if you have black flames right now, well, you have to look if the hat goes, then everything goes on there for a long time, right? But like the Berserk flame could probably be a little bit better with black flames. You just want to see if you get a little bit more all stat, right? This is like a 123. So where you're at in the game, you probably want to go aim towards like in the direction of like 135 to 140s for your pitches, just because you hold them for so long. So this is more this is more like a 140, right? So like the eye patch is in a good spot, and the book is like a 160, I think. Yeah, so the book is like way ahead. So between like the pitches to Berserk here would probably be the black flame thing that I would go for. And like for powerful and Eternals, honestly, I would just straight up just throw them on the Daybreak pendant, just to improve this one. You want to roughly get the same flame here as you have on, well, just anything over 100 basically, like 105 to 110 flame score or something. You probably want to aim for there.
Okay.
So that'd be closer to probably what your eye and face accessory have, I'm guessing. Wait, this is the drop rate stuff. Where is the... Damn it, I closed it. Should be here as well, no? Oh yeah, because this is the old... Yeah. Okay, so I would have to look at the drop rate stuff, yeah. Because that's your replace it with ping. Yeah, so something like here, right? Like 64 and 4 with a little bit of luck. And this one is 55 and 6, right? So something like that for the pendant as well.
Okay.
So that's like basically all the powerful and eternals probably throw at that, and then black flames at the berserk. Because you probably have quite a few here and there from stores, but I assume that you're using most of it on the mules now, right? To bring all the pieces up there evenly.
Yeah, mostly on mules.
Yeah. Okay, I get that. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's drop. That's that. That's the skull. Let's see if these personal goals, if that was covered. Breakthrough MSCP. I think, yeah. I mean, I gave you some tips on how you can manipulate it, but I think with those upgrades, you can definitely get there. Actually, let's see, cause I'm calling Limbo. That's gonna come. Limbo's beefier than I thought. We're probably gonna get there soon, but it's a chunky boy. It's a chunky dude. But you already have the 285, so that's good. But the masteries will come in before then, right? So that should make it a lot more doable. Front page complete. Blast up to yeah, that's going to be process over time. But we've got the Tanjiro coming. Have you considered using that one as a bosser? Because it turns into a hero afterwards, right? And it's going to be fast to level as well.
Yeah, I've been thinking of switching my Bowmaster, the dog with a hat, and the,
yeah. Because you can transfer that, and is only level 200 anyway.
Yeah, and it's pretty empty. The Bowmaster. There's no nodes, investment, anything.
Yeah, because people are saying with the bonus EXP on the Tanjiro class, it's probably pretty doable to get them all the way up to 260, and if you get the same rewards as in Japan and it gives another burn, you could get like 2 done for the price of 1 almost. Or at least the levels, right? I mean, it doesn't mean that the whole character is funded, but that gives you access to 6 job, which is a very big part of the way there. If you're just doing Lotus and Damien, just getting 6 job unlocked is probably almost enough, right? A little bit of nodes in the V matrix and you're good, probably.
Yeah.
So that's something to consider. But if the event is too much work or you don't have the time, right, then it's always fine to revert back to your old plan and just stick to that.
Let's see how it comes. If we get like Japan and Korea mix and match, I don't know.
Yeah, there's different regions all have different versions of the game, so we'll definitely gonna wait until the patch notes and then go for all the details, because it's hard to say exactly what's coming. We have a pretty good idea on what's coming, but it's hard to say exactly how it's gonna be. So it's good to keep your options open. And then yeah, if you have a character that's naked and 200, then at this point where you're at, it's very easy to replace that and to improve on that, right?
And that's an extra 1.4 bill for free.
Yeah, it's free money at that point. Yeah. Top right front page. Yeah, and lib. Yeah, I would say. What are you doing with Black Mage now? Are you doing extreme BM or are you doing just like fast run? Are you doing solo exchange carry?
Yeah, I'm doing a fast run with a friend. I'm duoing in like 6-7 minutes, and that's it. And then I'm getting carried, red dot, with my shade. Because there's another friend who like brings me every month. And yeah, that's my situation with. I think I'm supposed to have the damage to solo it. So maybe in the future I solo at least for the achievement.
Yeah, for achievement, I would say in the short term, the faster you can start all these guys up with Lib, even if you can just get it like a few months ahead, because of their limited funding that they're going to have, it'll give them a head start on the Liberation. Because I do think if you want to Lib all of them, it's going to be shorter per character to lib it, but it's going to take longer for you to get to the point where you can start libbing, versus now you can already start libbing, and then you have a little bit of a head start for when you get to the character. So I think it might be a good idea to look for like turning your character, at least for the time being, as long as you're not doing extreme BM, turn it into just like an exchange carry machine. Find other people who need exchange carries, who want to start up their lib. If you want to keep dueling with a friend instead of soloing, that's fine, but then you can take 4 people, find those 4 people who want to exchange, and then bring your other 4 people on, bring 4 characters on other runs, and just start getting them in. Because even if they can just get 2 or 3 runs before the summer, then are already 2 or 3 months into Liberation versus having to start from 0. And those first bosses are super easy anyway, so those are never going to hold you back, right?
Yeah.
Just to start the scaling there. And then, you know, when the summer comes and you're stronger, and, you know, that whole process kind of like changes, and you want to do like extreme BM on the main instead, or you want to do like one-to-one exchange, and then you can go more specifically per character to do exchange carry. That's going to be harder, but you'll be able to do that with your character if you just want to bring up the 3rd guy, right, to live the 3rd, just to have those main 3 for now, and then slowly work on the next one as they get announced in Korea. Yeah, because unless you fund way more per character, Liberation is going to take longer. So I would consider that as an option of like still doing stuff on your main character, and maybe also like getting priority for the badge, right? But at the same time also working on your verticality with your whole account and setting up that foundation to really lock in when that system is fully built out.
So maybe because the thing is, I need to fund, like for example, my demon, right, which is the next one on the queue that I want to like leap or invest. It's like 20 mil CP. I need to like fund a bit more maybe for the 5% on Vigil and work on like symbol.
Yeah, you'll have to find someone who's willing to let you. I mean, having 6 job is already really nice. Knowing the numbers, I think it's. God, was it like 8.8 bill, 8.8 T damage? I think on Varus Hilla. Yeah, 8.8 trill to do your 5%. If you find someone who just lets you do your 5% first, you know, and then they just blow up the boss, it's a bit annoying, but you only have to do that once every 3 months, right? So it's not a huge thing. And you're going to have other people in the exact same situation as you who also just want to start living as soon as possible, but they have some super weak characters. If 1 week, you know, out of every 3 months, or just for like 3 weeks in a row, you get your 9 keys on a character, and you do that for a few characters, and then they immediately have all the keys for the whole Liberation, and they're done. Well, yeah, it's gonna end up being more per character, but if you do focus on that for one character, you find someone else, it's just like with the exchange runs here, right? Like, it'll take a little bit longer per run, but it's value that you cannot get in any other way. Like, you can't brute force it in any other way because you're time gated by the amount of runs you can do. So I think it's worth getting more value per that run, exchanging it with someone. It's kind of like with Extreme Lotus, right? When people are too strong, like they're like duoing Extreme Lotus in like under 20 minutes or like closer to 15 minutes, it might make sense for them to just solo, but not solo alone, but then each brings the Lin to the other person's character, right? And then just buffs them with the Lin, and the Lin just red dots. And then you're running more than twice as long, right? Because you're running 2 runs that are each longer than your solo run. But now you have priority on all of your runs, and the other person also has priority, and you're helping each other out. And that's something that you should always consider as an option to see if that's worth it to you. If it's not, that's fine, but always be familiar with that opportunity. Because I think right now, if you're just doing like a very fast 2-man, 6-man BM run, I think you're foregoing a whole lot of opportunity of potential progress for Liberation for your account for free funding while it's still available. So just be aware of that.
Yeah, you're right. The link thing is pretty interesting. I might hyperburn with a second hyperburn during the
It could even just be like a level 210 or something just with nodes on it, right? Like, as long as your supportive skills are maxed out, they don't even have to bring any damage most of the time. But, you know, if they do, and if they're 260 and they have an extra origin bind, that's always useful, of course. It helps the other person even more to make sure that there's an extra bind, especially if it's like a Night Lord or a or a Nightwalker or something. They probably can appreciate an extra 10 seconds of the boss being bound while they're just unloading their damage on it. So yeah, but that's something like on 1-to-1. I assume there's also like activity on Discord, right, for Hyperion where people find each other. And since the community is a bit smaller, it should be easier to kind of like find each other in that sense, or just to know if there are people looking for it or not, so you can either move on or or get on with it. Yeah.
It's mostly guild discords,
Yep.
and you almost like every time you see like the same persons, even if they are not in the guild. Like for example, I'm in like 5 or 6 guild discords, and I'm only in one guild, but it's like a thing eternally, like
Yep.
because you have access to like more party finders,
Yep.
Discord tab.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, what was the last thing here? Try the events and have fun with the game. Yeah, that's a very personal thing, right? With the events, I always try to look at first, like, are the rewards for the events even something that I care about? If they're not, then usually I kind of ignore it, unless the event looks fun, right? If the events are worth it, the rewards are worth it, then I look at what would I be going for, and then like the first 2 or 3 days I try to participate and then see if that fits into my schedule and if that's enjoyable for me. And if some of it fits into schedule, then maybe I adjust what I want to buy. If I feel like I can do more, then maybe I buy more. And if it's really annoying, then I just say like, okay, I don't need it anymore. But it is a bit of a privileged position, of course, because I'm already far in the game, so I might not need as many rewards from an event anyway. So there's more events where you can say like, fuck it. And there's more events now where the free rewards just for participating are already like, 50 or 100 black flames. And that can be enough for me to be like, okay, I'll take that. And then, like with this chair event, I'm not doing all that. I'm not decorating a chair. Like, I've got enough to do. But I'll take some black flames and I'll take a mag pot, But I'm not going to like min-max for that soul or that energy for the last like logins and all that. Like, I don't care about that stuff, But, I'll take some VIP boosters and I'll take some symbol selectors, sure.
Oh yeah, the MacPods are always nice. I have my Phantom 254. I appreciate some MacPods up to 260. I'm not like actively grinding. It's just daily Monster Park and some MacPods.
Yeah, at this point, just from 200 to 260s is Monster Park, MacPods, Event EXP, and then once you get into 245, like Tenebris dailies, right? I don't know if you're using those. That's a nice little chunk of EXP per day as well. And that's, yeah, but people are like, where do you train at level 226? And I'm like, I don't train between level 200 and 260. That's just all this like free EXP, basically. Yeah, like that's just not my regimen anymore. But for a newer account, it will be, of course. Limited resources, or all of those things go into the main. And then you always have to think about, free levels are cool, but they come at a price always, right? Like, you're not making money. You're not getting fragments. You're not getting familiars. You're getting more of something, but you're getting more because you're not getting a bunch of other stuff. And it's always weighing the pros and the cons. Not burning out, that's the that's the hard one. I think burnout happens from doing things just because and not really ever stopping to think on why you're doing something or if you really want to. I think at work, with people professionally, burnout happens a lot when you're just doing the things that are coming on your path or coming onto your desk or into your email box, and you don't feel like you're actually making anything better, or you're not really adding value in any kind of way. You're just going with the flow. And the best you can do is just keep your head above water, and even that you can't do like most of the time. And sometimes it is a good idea to kind of like take a step back, maybe play a little bit less, and see if you really miss playing or if you just miss what the game wants you to miss. You miss the progress, you miss the time gates, you miss the best in slot stuff that could come from an event and everything. Or you could do what Patrick does, and just drink a whole lot of beer and then, have some... It's all about balancing, right? Yeah.
I felt that especially in Hyperion, because I was very, very casual player in Chronos. And when I moved to Hyperion because of a friend, he told me, let's try to try hard this server. Like, try to go far and beyond, like the farthest we can go. And I said, okay, let's try it. And we were actually trying to be in the like top ranking of our respective class. He plays a shadower, and I was actually rank one my class during like the first 2 or 3 months of Hyperion. And
Nice.
I felt a bit of a pressure of
A bit,
I
yeah.
want I
Gotta
want
stay
to,
there, right?
yeah, I want to like consistently keep this. Also in dojo, I was some weeks I was first of my class. It was, I mean, it was kind of easy because there is no Lumi and like there's not much people who plays Lumi, but still for me it was pretty important. And I felt like the pressure, and the more like the later of the game, like the more time that passed in the game, people start like hitting like 22s, people start hitting like pitches, and the gap slowly was like getting bigger because it's RNG, right? You
Yeah.
cannot like fight against that.
And if there's enough other
And
people, someone is gonna hit. And the chance that it's
yeah,
you stays the same or even goes down, but the chance that someone hits actually goes up. Yeah.
and at that point I was getting very frustrated, and I work on that. Like right now I'm like fully reformed. I'm very happy with what the games give me. If the game wants me to hit 22, it's okay, and if not, it's okay too. And the same for pitches. And I think I'm third. I dropped to third and on the rankings, but I'm like just like a small history about myself.
Yeah, I mean, if you got that far and you're already at this, I assume that you've been worked insanely hard at it in Hyperion in such a new server.
Yeah, I was actually with a zero legion. Like in the same
Yeah.
year, I got the level, the legion, like the boss mules, like everything.
Yeah, 9K already. Yeah, that's impressive. It's about what goals you set, right? And now you have these goals instead. And this is, I think, healthy that you're trying to make sure that you keep enjoyment about the game and that you have your own personal goals, whether other people are already 292 or whether other people are looking for extreme, you know, whether there's like one people looking, there's at least like one party probably trying to do extreme Kalos, right?
Yeah.
But the only people that could do that is the people who have hit their Eternals and who have hit more pitches. And yeah, if that's not you, then that's just not a realistic thing you can do yet. So that's why it's hard trying to go for number one, because even if you can get number one at some point, staying number one is way harder than ever being it a little bit, right? And there's also 1,000 things in this game that you can do, so you can also just be number one at something that no one else does, and that's even easier to be number one. Like, I try to compete in achievement rankings because nobody gives a fuck about that, so it's easier to be high ranked there. Yeah, I'm top 60 at achievement points. There you go. I can care about that. I'll just choose to care about things that no one else cares about. Then you're competing with no one. Hell yeah. Only with yourself, you know. I think competing with yourself is probably fine. But, yeah, with thousands, tens of thousands maybe of people is... it's hard to control, right? It's hard to control how much demand and pressure that's going to put on you based on someone else. Because someone else maybe works from home and can just play the whole day, and it can level more than you can play the whole game total, and then they boss on top of that. You can't compete with that, right? How are you ever going to put yourself in the same league or try to reach things that they do with half the time? That's just not realistic.
Yeah, at some point I have to be honest with myself and say, okay, this is my situation. I cannot like force, because it will affect my real life. That's not good.
Yeah, because you only have 24 hours in the day. Some people seem to have like 40 hours in the day, and you can't compete with those people. I mean, some people legitimately only need like 4 to 5 hours of sleep a night, and they're perfectly healthy. I know I need 8.5 towards 9 hours myself. So it's like there's certain things I just can't do with that. You know, you have to see your own. I don't know if it's shortcomings, limitations, right? Everyone has different limitations, different situation, different parameters that they have to live under. Yeah, that's good that you're thinking about all these things, and I feel like it's a very healthy account, and you have You have a good outlook. Is your friend still playing? Because usually it's like the friend dragging you to another server to try to compete, and then they quit, and then you keep going.
He's keep playing, but he's very casually playing right now. He will come back stronger. I hope so because he moved to a different country, and he's like figuring out stuff right now.
Yeah.
In that like process of
job and house and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And visa and all that probably. Yeah, that can be a lot of work. But what you hear a lot is like people are like, oh, come, we've got to play MapleStory again, and then they start playing MapleStory with a group of friends, and then they're like the only one that's left, and everyone else has moved on again, and then they're like, but we were gonna play this together. That's why I'm here. That they're the only one that are still playing. That happens so much with Maple. I don't know what that is, but that phenomenon.
He's way better than me at like managing the account because he's very like disciplined. What's the word in English?
Discipline.
When you're disciplined. He's
and
very
organized maybe.
And organized with his account. He's also 285. He's a shadower, and he's very good at saving money. Not like me, who like the most amount of money I've been saved, it was like 50, 60 bill when I was leaving. But the rest is like 20 bill. Oh, I spent like 30p. I spent.
I mean, if you have a specific, as long as you have in mind, like, okay, when is the next event? Is there a project? Do I need money for that? No, then you can spend, right? Because like cubing, you can pretty much do all the time. Like right now, if there wasn't a 5, 10, 15, I would say immediately start working on that drop in meso gear right now and spend anything you have right now and work on that, right? Because the faster you get the drop in the meso gear stuff done, the more backups you'll get and the more money you'll make when you're training, and you'll just make it back faster. So, and way in the beginning of the game, it's almost the best to immediately spend your money because you will get disproportionately way stronger, get access to more content and do content way faster and be able to grow faster. But once you get more into the waiting room of items, specifically if you're trying to move like past, a 17 star in the beginning, if you're trying to move past 17 star arcane, and if you're trying to go into Eternals and into pitches, that's when you really need to start like saving and looking at events, I think. Because then you just make a lot of money by spending it at the right time. Not only you make money because the upgrading is cheaper, but also because you'll have more backups by then, and then you'll have more options, and then potentially make better decisions that are more efficient. But you don't have to. But if you don't, you'll have to put more hours into grinding and spend more money on average, but you will see results. Again, if you don't take any chances, you'll also never succeed. But if you take higher risk chances, on average, you'll spend more.
Yeah, I got I'm pretty sure we're like closing up. I have like a last question. My situation with pitch items, it's very weird because I've only seen one. Those 4 pitches are the only ones I've seen. So, for example, the Berserk and the Eye Patch, those are the only ones. And I had the luck that they go from 0 to 22 on the first one, on both.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's great.
But I'm worried about if I see my next pitch, like for example, a sauce or a ET in another year, should I stay at 21? Like, how bad is that? Because it's not like I'm seeing pitches like every month, and it's like, okay, I'm like consistently seeing them. I can like tap, because most likely I will get another chance in like 1 or 2 months. I'm feeling like that. I don't know if it's just me or it's like for other people, but I feel like very, very unlucky on like drops.
Well, I mean, if they're gonna go 22 on the first one, then you don't need to get that lucky on drops, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, my first pitch that went to 22 was the 8th pitch that I tried to Star Force. And that's not that much of an exception. Someone in my guild, his first 22 was his 11th pitch that he tried to Star Force. So, is it better to have 5 booms and the 6th one go in 2 months, or only get 1 piece in 2 months and the first and it goes? I mean, objectively, your situation is better because you have more money left, because you probably spent less money because other people boom 4 or 5 pieces before they get one, right? So
Yeah, but
there's no guarantee
I-
that that's going to keep happening, of course. And in general, the Berserk and the Eye Patch are the more common pitches because you get access to them earlier, so you will just have more of them. It's just good to have a plan. Like for Source, it's good to have a plan. Keep doing Helix, keep getting coins, so you can buy pendants, right? So you can do the 22 to 21 tap, and then if it fails at 21, just do another 22 and always tap from 21, I would say. Because you're in that situation now that you know this early, that's, you know, you can prep for that and be ready for that and reduce that risk to the lowest possible to make sure that you can hit on your first source. My first source was from my clear number 164. But other people get theirs, you know, week 4. There's just too much disparity to really say, like, this is the best way, this is the worst way. But for source, we could definitely say, get as many Helix coins as possible, get superior pendants, you know, dominators. You have your 22 daybreak, so you can start using your daybreaks if there's a Star Force event and you have money left to start already making fodder, maybe to transfer into the source to have one ready. I don't know about, some people have like 4 22 superiors ready or like a 23 superior ready for when an event comes. I think that's a bit overkill. If that process takes longer to wait for more events, personally I'm like, so be it. Because, you know, one piece switch is not going to be the end of the world. I'd rather do it in a more financially efficient way than to do it a bit faster there. The ring is a bit tricky because I'm in a situation where I'm like 8 set, and the ring would put me to 9 set, and I think even a 17-star ring for me would be an upgrade compared to my current 22-star reinforced. So I'm also in that, like, do I keep a 17 then, wait for another one after that, and then walk them up 1 star at a time? Or do I still 22 or nothing? Or do I try to go for like 19, which is pretty low risk, but very good chance of hitting? And if it didn't go 19, then it just wasn't meant to be. That goes more into like, and it's the similar situation as the Eternals, right? Like, are you just gonna go for the full upgrade, make sure the Star Force is ready so that you can then commit? Or are you just trying to still make gains so you can get to the next boss, so you can still progress your character? And then once you're progressed, is that going to be enough? And then can you, at that point, take more risk? Because the next boss after that is just too far away. And because masteries are coming, I feel like you might not need the upgrade. So if it makes you feel better, I guess, that you have the pieces and that you have the set, then maybe you sell for a lower Star Force. But it's always going to feel like it's not done, so you're not going to want to fully commit to the flame, you're not going to want to fully commit to the potential, and you shouldn't probably, right? Because you're just not sure yet if that's the piece that you're going to keep forever. And if you're not sure, then that's the main reason why people go 22 or nothing. That's what it all comes down to, is people just want to make sure that that's the piece. And they want to be able to commit to the potential in the flame, and that's why they go 22 or nothing, I think. Because otherwise it feels like it's always just not quite done. And that feeling, I think, makes a lot of people uncomfortable, and that's very understandable.
My concern is that, for me personally, I'd rather see like 5 pitches, even if they all boom. But I feel like better for having like the chance, you know, to tap.
Yeah.
But if I see like one in like 1 year, I feel like I want to stay at 21. I don't know. It's because I'm like for the Circle and the eye patch, I got them very early, and I wasn't even like finished with Arcanes. And my mentality was, I don't have like anything to lose. If it goes, it goes. It like doesn't matter. But now that I have everything 22, if a new piece come into the equation, I have something to lose, quote unquote. Like technically, I have something to lose if that doesn't go.
Again, but like if it doesn't give you access to training faster, or getting to a new boss, or doing an existing boss significantly faster, then I don't think you the only thing you have to lose there is like a mental thing, I think. And like, you know, a little bit of CP, maybe. But not actual significant damage to the character, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Plus, what the game wants you to do is just to now play 5 characters that all do C10A so that you can see more drops. So then you can feel like you are getting more of them. But like someone in chat said, like, the grass is always greener on the other side. You know the expression? Like, if you have, right, you play for a year, and you have 2 pitches and they both went, and then someone else in 1 year they saw 0 pitches, they're gonna say they wish they were you. And someone else saw 8 pitches and one of them went 22, they're gonna say they wish they were you. The only people who don't want to trade is the people who have more than 2 succeeded. That's literally the only situation. I don't think it ultimately depends that much on how many you saw in total. What it really just comes down to is how many hit.
Oh, I see. Yeah, makes sense.
And in the end, I think the main thing that I would focus on for you is it makes it so that you had more money left over that you can spend on your mules to bring the mules up to make more money for your main account. That you didn't have to spend booming stuff. Yeah.
I should 22 every single pitch I like put my hands on from now on.
At this point, maybe not the heart, because like for Extreme Lotus, because that one's pretty tricky. If you have a lot of black hearts, then you can go more risky on the heart. But if you're limited on black heart backup, you probably want to just like 17 the first one, just to have something in that slot, and also because it's a cheap thing to potential, right? And then you can,
besides the heart, like a sauce or AT or Commander Force.
Yeah, because you have, again, you set yourself up to be able to do that because you already have 22 on everything, right? So for CFEs, I think you want to, yeah. If you get them on your, what was your secondary character again? Was that a Shade?
Yeah, Shade. The funny thing, the Shade has a 22 Commander Force.
Yeah, and that's going to happen, right? Well, people say, like, mules always hit, but that's mostly because they have more mules than mains, because you only have one main. So there's more chance that mules are going to hit, right? So that's a little bit, it's a little bit of like biased statistics. But and then the second thing is you tend to take more risk on a secondary character because, again, you don't have that much to lose because they don't really need the damage that much, right? And if you risk more, or if you risk at all, you have actual chance of succeeding, which is higher than not risking it at all. So it's mostly those two things combined that kind of perpetuate that not wrong, like a wrong conclusion to correct data, basically. But I mean, I saw your stuff. Yeah, I think you're at the point of 22 or nothing. I would just say make sure to keep doing Helix and to keep getting those pendants to set yourself up for the best choice possible, or the lowest risk possible to get to 22 on the source. That'll be expensive, but you'll be really happy if that you did that the right way, as slow as that is, just to make sure that you gave yourself the best odds there to hit.
Okay.
But yeah, I think the best you could hope for is maybe like 2 of each pitch per year per character. If like full drop always running, that's like the highest you can possibly aim for, I think. But you're not even at the worst part of pitch waiting room yet. But the worst part of pitch waiting room is having like 6 pieces done, and now all you get is berserks and eye patches that you've already completed. And now you have to like try to 23 those because your inventory is getting full. Like this guy's been 7 set for a while. Like this one, my inventory looks like 2 extra berserks, 3 extra eye patches, extra source, extra book, and it's like, I mean, I have 5 inventory spaces left. Like I need to try to 23, I guess. Otherwise, I run out of, or let go of a bunch of stuff that I want to keep, because I'm a little bit of a hoarder. But it's also a lot of this is legacy stuff that you can't get anymore.
Yeah.
Or that's really hard to replace. A few extra Rune Force shields, But yeah, if you care about holding that, I mean, I'm holding this CRA still until I fully switch into Eternal. If that goes, then I'll probably get rid of all the CRA. But until then, just want to make sure. That's more of a personal choice, I guess. But yeah, I think, like I said, everyone's going to look at another situation for how their pitch in Eternal is going and wish they were them. But best you can do is make the decisions for your situation that makes sense. I think you're perfectly set up to just try 22 or nothing. And again, just like with Eternals, if you boom an item like 4 times and you just want to switch into it and you hit 21 and you just want to sit on that, then that's your decision and no one else can say anything about it and fuck what anyone else says. And then you just do what you want to do.
Okay, fair enough.
I hate when people like gatekeep other people, like forcing them to tap. I've started adding those people just to blacklist people who smack that kind of stuff out because there's just such toxicity that I just don't want to deal with at all. Trying to tell other people how to upgrade their stuff. which is, you know,
Yeah.
people already project on me for doing. Someone
Then
actually
you
said that. It
boom.
was like, you tell people what to do. It's like, well, I tell people to do what they want to do. Aha, so you do tell people what to do. Checkmate. And like, okay, sure.
And
I
then
guess.
they force you to tap, and then you boom and say, "Oh,
Yeah, and then they laugh
well,
at you. And it's like,
my bad, sorry." Oh,
it's like
but
people who troll you, and then they get defensive when you get upset. It's like, well, your goal was to make me upset, and now I'm upset, and now you can't say, why did you get upset? Like, that was the goal of what you did, and you succeeded in your goal. You can't, like, have it both ways. Like,
yeah,
okay, that was the last question, right? Because I think we're quite a bit over
that
already.
was
Yep.
the last one.
Okay. Well, hopefully that elucidated some things and gave you a bit more context for your decisions and everything.
Yeah, for sure, was very, very helpful. I thank you a lot, and I appreciate like the time and the effort and everything. And I actually learned a lot with your progression series.
Okay.
Like almost 90% of the knowledge I have in the game, it's by watching your progression YouTube videos.
Okay, I'm glad. Gracias.
De nada.
um, but yeah, good luck. Good luck tomorrow. Hopefully the hats, because you have one attempt for the hat, right?
No, right now I don't have any attempts.
Oh, you just have boomed it 3 times so far, but you
Yeah,
have
the
no.
last
Yeah. Okay.
last one was like 3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks ago.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Well, hopefully the next one goes then, and then
Hopefully,
hopefully the double drop and the drop pieces and all that stuff doesn't cost too much. But then yeah, hopefully you'll see more backups more consistently, and then around every event you'll have some attempts. But yeah, if there's nothing really to work on, you'll always have some mules to sink some money into that can always get progress. So you'll have plenty to do. But yeah, keep a good balance, and yeah, best of luck. And have a good weekend.
you too. Best of
Thank you,
luck
thank
for
you.
you too.
All right.
Best wishes. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
All right. Yeah, sometimes people don't really know what to ask. Sometimes people have a lot of questions. These are very limited questions, but there's so much to go into, right? Like, what is the right way to go into Eternals? What is, how far do you push pitches? It's really hard to just. This is why the 22 or nothing is such a powerful thing, because that's just a very short thing to say, and then you don't have to worry about all the other stuff, because there is so many possibilities and so many options, and who wants to deal with all of that and having things be like half done? Just do 22 or nothing, then you don't have to worry about it at all. It makes total sense why you would just kind of like cut the cord there, Hopefully, I was able to kill some time for you while you were doing some doing some grinding or something. And maybe 1 or 2 of these decision-making processes made sense to you or resonated with you in terms of going into horizontal or vertical approach for your account, in terms of what's coming for KMS, in terms of personal time balance as well, what you prioritize for yourself for your account. Hopefully some of that was useful, just listening to someone else's point of view on that, and just the two of us just kind of like yapping about that. If not, I'm sorry. If it was, make sure to let me know. And yeah, if you have any suggestions or you have any questions, I'm still open for coaching. So if you have questions on that, check the description of the video or check !coaching over at the Twitch chat. I stream there every day. This is also streamed on Twitch. So if you ever want to drop by, if you have any questions, feel free to drop by Scardor channel, twitch.tv. And you can also use all of the resources there. All of the links that I've used are all available through the chat there. So some of those things might already know. Some things might be helping clarify a topic that maybe is just too confusing, because Nexon has a bunch of old systems like that. And yeah, all that good stuff. So thank you for watching. Watch another video or don't. And if you have any questions or if you want to see me live, twitch.tv/Scardor. I'll maybe see you there. Thanks for watching. Bye. That was the end of the YouTube video. Okay, cool.